Hi, I'm Lauren Bryant, twin mum, event host, and award-winning small business specialist with a background in automotive and finance. I'm coming up to 10 years of Powerhouse, where I've helped hundreds of women streamline and scale their business. The greatest thing I've built, though, is an incredible community through my events, the Brunch Club. In over 70 live events, I've created thousands of connections and raised tens of thousands of dollars for charity. Most of all, I created a no-pressure networking space for women to feel seen, heard, and supported. This podcast is an extension of that, where I can share what I've learned, bring amazing speakers to share their story, and keep living the Powerhouse values: community, empowerment, and education. If you are an ambitious woman in business, welcome. This is for you.
Welcome back to the podcast. Thank you for joining me. Today we have Amber Hills. She is a 2-times founder, an AI agency owner, a former psychologist, and a twin mum. She spends her time helping service-based businesses owners simplify and implement AI to support the way that they work. Amber has helped businesses across Australia scale to more than 40 million in revenue, personally contributing 25 million in sales through sales psychology, operational strategy, and business system design. Thank you for joining me, Amber. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Wonderful, thank you. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself for those who haven't heard of you before?
Yeah. So, as you said, my background is in psychology, and now I am very heavy deep down into the world of AI, and a twin mum at that as well. So, I guess probably the best way to talk about who I am is probably to talk about the journey and how I ended up here, because I think a lot of women will probably relate to this as far as how to cope in the world that we live in today with businesses and trying to be here, there, and everywhere. So a little bit about me. I am one of 5, and I guess learnt from pretty young that in order to have freedom, in order to have experiences, it was about me being able to fund it myself. My parents didn't have the funds to buy for cars and driving lessons and things like that. So I was very fortunate to learn from my grandmother, who was a fashion designer, the ins and outs of business, and I became a fashion designer at 19 and started in bridal wear and selling my garments in Brisbane CBD. And from there, I really just fell in love with, getting to know people and the psychology, hearing their stories and interacting with them. And that really led me into the space of psychology. So I did that for 6 years, and it wasn't until I went through my separation that things got really tricky and my capacity became limited. And at that point, I did have my twins. So you can just imagine, single mom, trying to run a business, the flexibility is not there anymore. So it was really about trying to work smarter and not harder. And during this time, I also transitioned from a clinical setting into a business or organization psychology. So what that looked like for me was really analyzing people's businesses and seeing the gaps, seeing the bottlenecks, analyzing that data and trying to find solutions. And yeah, that led me into really becoming obsessed in some way about, around systems, automations, and working, smarter, not harder.
Amazing. You are a 2-times founder and a twin mum, which is not an easy task. How are you using AI in your day-to-day to help you manage your time?
Oh, I use it. Every inch of my business, really, I'm applying AI.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I try not, I'm very cautious of the terminology I use because I can use very technical language and not everybody will be able to grasp that if you're not a AI developer.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do in my workshops, I actually have the code word pineapple. So if I become too techie, I'm like, everyone just says pineapple, and it just means like I need to rein it back and kind of use simple terminology. But as far as AI, like it is extremely exciting to be in a space that, or even for everybody, right? For everybody owning a business, it is a very exciting time because not only are we able to use AI, but we're able to use it quite I can't even speak, but it can be quite simple now to integrate AI into your business. We're not needing to be coders anymore. And that's really where I started. I actually was coding and building software from Claude Code. But if you've got a business, from anything from a personal assistant, having a personal assistant on your phone, making sure they're scheduling, keeping up to date, what's coming ahead. If you have any meetings that are booked in, they give you a briefing. Any clients that come in, they give you a deep dive analysis of everything you need to know about the new client. Uh, I mean, that's just from the basic level, but you can use AI right up into the whole operating system, which is what I do and I specialize in now. And that is having a second brain that knows your business, that knows your voice, that knows your brand, and it does things autonomously and operates your business on a 24-hour, 7 period.
Amazing. You obviously work with a lot of business owners, and people can be really fearful of things that they don't understand or they're feeling
Mm.
overwhelmed by. Where do you see people usually getting stuck in their business when they're first looking at AI and how to
Mm.
install that second brain?
Yeah. Look, and the second brain is it's the advanced level. So I always say, don't jump to that because you need to have processes in place in order for AI to work. So the very first thing I do is do an audit, an AI audit, see if they are AI ready, meaning work out what's working and what's not. If it's not working, then it's a matter of tightening up those processes, making sure that they work, and then having AI to do those things automatically. So that's really the very first point. Every business is different as well. So it's not this operating system is going to work for that business. You really do need to customize it. And this is why, again, I do workshops because everybody does need to build an operating system or use AI strategically, intentionally. And this is where I guess things do go pear shaped, or I say AI agents go rogue because essentially the processes, the guardrails, all of those things aren't in place. So, yeah, if someone's brand new to or is thinking about how they can or if they should or where to start in the space of AI, I highly recommend doing an AI audit, looking at their processes, and maybe creating a bit of a hit list of all the things that are bottlenecks in their business.
Great idea. Do you see that there's a large mental barrier keeping people from adopting the automation in their business?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that whether it's AI or not, like I think anything unknown, we do have this resistance, towards. That's just a human response, right? Of yeah, doing something brand new. But I think if people are unsure about AI and they do have that mental block, I always encourage have an open mind. I tried to create visuals of what it would look like, and it's quite fun because again, AI is just if you can think it, you can create it. So I actually do have fun creating little videos of like The Sims,
Mhm.
and you can see like and so I've created a little video where they can see like the marketing manager going in talking to the CEO or operating manager and saying, "Hey, what do you think of this brand or campaign and stuff like that?" So just so they can see it really does help close their gap of whether it's possible or not. But yeah, it's open mind. Definitely keep an open mind. And I think if there are more AI developers that can create more visuals for business owners to kind of grasp and see it for themselves, I think it's going to really help.
For sure. And when we're looking at getting people into using AI, how can the service-based businesses use the AI without sacrificing that human connection, that human part of their business that's actually bringing in their clients?
Yeah. I always say leave humans where there needs to be humans and put AI where things can be automated or the repetitive task. We're currently playing with the idea of asking for permission for business owners, well, for business owners to ask their clients for permission for there to be AI. So, for example, the normal is taking a client through an onboarding process and sitting down with them and getting to know their needs and their goals and things like that. But if you can essentially build a relationship, build trust, build that connection with a human, you still need to have that touch, then you can, if it's strong enough, then you can actually still have AI do the onboarding and the questionnaires and all the admin. You think about anything administrative, that's a great place where you can put AI. But I think where it could be very helpful and something that we haven't seen much of right now is just it's like sneaking in AI to do the things that requires a human to sit down and write. We've got voice notes and transcribers and things like that now. So I work a lot in the allied health space. So where you can just imagine the compliance and the permissions we need around that, the consent. So I think if we can get that passed, and I'm pretty sure we're pretty good to go on other businesses that don't have those restrictions.
Yeah, for sure. Compliance is a huge issue with a lot of the caring industry. What are some of the biggest mistakes that you're seeing businesses make when they're trying to automate or use AI in their sales and their marketing?
Yes. Oh, I love this question. Like, I think the more you can analyze things that don't work, the better. This is where you learn, right? Like, you want to actually work with a AI developer that has had those scary moments, those things that don't work so well. Because I think if there hasn't been mistakes or there hasn't been lessons, then it's probably not the right AI developer to go with. What I do see going wrong, first of all, I guess business owners try and do things themselves, and uh, this is without guardrails. This is with AI can hallucinate, can work really well for the first 6 weeks. And then all of a sudden, as I say, they go rogue, they kind of make up their own mind. So it's having AI done correctly, having someone that really does understand where you can store data, where you can have that source of truth, things like that. I do see business owners also automating broken processes. So there hasn't been enough data to say that process is right to automate. And that could be simply from because they haven't got the feedback from their clients, they haven't got their feedback from their employees. And so that's been other areas that I do see a little bit of a red, I don't like to say red flag, but it's an area that they need to put some attention to. I mean, there's a bit of a list, there's a list on both ends. So I could write a bit of a book on that.
For sure. And when we're talking about sales psychology within the business, is there a shift in that psychology and the strategies you're using around that now that AI is here?
Absolutely. Yeah. And this is me touching back on permission. So, in order for someone to be accepting of something, there is a level of, in psychology, we say priming, but there's a bit of a preparation. You need to nurture, you need to nurture a prospect to get to a point where they are open to a new idea. Now, AI is very new, right? So there's a good chance that they are already thinking, I don't want to talk to a robot. I want to talk to a human. And so this is why we actually, as business owners, really need to be very strategic where we put AI. And also if we're putting AI on a sales or a customer journey, how are we introducing or acknowledging that AI is here and it's here to help? So, and this is where it's talking about it in a complementary way, that in educating clients or prospects, it's about sharing that they will be able to have extra customer service support because there is AI that's working alongside the human. So, yeah, definitely needs to be some consideration from a strategic point of view. Yeah, for the sales process for sure.
Is there particular language that people should be looking at around that, introducing the AI to the client to say, hey, it's here to help?
Mm,
Because everybody's using it in one
yeah,
way or another.
yeah,
Is there something
absolutely.
that you would suggest that people start adding to their repertoire?
Yeah. Look, I think in again, it's the priming. I think do it in stages. It's not just using it like, hey, here's AI.
Mm,
It really is embedding it into the story and into the services. And it's the same thing in sales psychology. So in sales psychology, if I go deep down into that, when you do a conversion, you are actually starting from the from the hello of building that relationships, the listening, the validating, the highlighting solutions, kind of guiding them to a solution that this thing could help, if it's a right fit. And obviously, you obviously would only suggest help, or offer help if you think it's a good fit. But when it comes to AI, it's the same thing. It's storytelling and talking about how AI has helped increase the level of support, the outcomes because of AI. So I think do it in a storytelling way can be very helpful. The language is, yeah, using positive reinforcing language. So, for example, yeah, we're very fortunate to have,
mhm.
we're very fortunate to have smart technology that's been able to, free up time so I can be more here for you. I can, so positive language like that is, and you're nearly applauding the AI. And that way, when you're talking to a new client or a customer, they are in some way seeing like, oh, okay, like this is a good thing. This is a good thing.
That's great. I love that idea. We said in the introduction that you have helped Australian businesses scale to more than $40 million in revenue, and that 25 million of that comes from the sales psychology and the strategy and the business system design and all of that. Can you share a little bit about that process and what you
Mm.
actually did to help those businesses scale like that?
Yeah. And that was over, that didn't happen overnight. That was over 7 years for that one in particular. So a lot of analyzing the processes, really looking at it from a data point of view to see where are the bottlenecks, what can we fix. It was a lot of refining, a lot of work, a lot of work. But, with any business growing to that, it does require a lot of attention and nurturing and refinement. So honestly, that really was around getting the right processes, fixing the processes that don't work, putting systems in place. And it's like with any little thing that you just become really good at. You a business doesn't become great overnight, so you've kind of got to nurture little bits and pieces like the marketing, the people who are doing the sales. So it's I'm talking about AI and the things that we can adopt from little micro levels. It's basically the same thing. It's using the right language, bringing the clients onto a journey, the customer journey that I built for that company in particular. It was 12 stages, so it's not a ABC. It really is being very intentional of how we bring clients up the pipeline, how we created new opportunities, and I'm very fortunate to have been the driver for that and being very experimental, because I tell you what, it was very experimental to see what was working, what was not working. And when something did work, it was just like doubling down on it. So this is why I say, really look at your processes. If they don't work, do change them, get the data, make sure your decisions are made from data, evidence. And I think that's just the psychology side of me that probably I become a little bit obsessed with the numbers. But yeah, I mean, for those that don't have that, that interest in data, like AI, like we're very fortunate to have AI that can actually do data analysis for us. So if you're going through if you're doing a new campaign, got a new offer, or you want to see whether it's going to be successful, whether it is something that you double down, whether it's something you need to change, you can build an AI, a business strategist expert that can actually work alongside you to guide you through that. We don't need to hire someone to do that. You can actually use AI to assist you through that.
Yeah, incredible. Is that process, thinking about, 7 years of helping
Mm.
this business refine and change and grow and obviously scale to what is obviously very impressive. Do you think that process would take that amount of time now with the tools
Mm.
that we have now?
Definitely not. Not even close. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We're seeing things like companies that are doing that in the year. So, and again, this is because we, I guess, are seeing blind spots from the get-go. We have information of things that we know do work for this particular business model. So you're yeah, you people are using AI from a executive, like they've got an executive, well, even for myself, yeah, I think anyone who has a business, even having a team of AI agents that are executives that have expertise in certain levels of or certain areas of business that you can draw on and say, hey, executive team, what should I do here?
Mhm.
This is where successful business owners, the ones that are scaling quite fast, and I'm not saying everyone does have this, but I do say they are drawing on AI and the intelligence in order to make decisions that will actually move the needle in that direction.
Yeah, for sure. As a service-based business that's doing maybe six figures at the moment, do you think that there's a huge difference in going from that six figures to the seven-figure mark and then from seven figures into the eight and beyond?
This is a great conversation because this is kind of like what I do really heavily now. I don't think many people are very familiar with the technology that is out that like what we build, and that is like an AI OS, so an AI operating system. That is the second brain. So just say if you've got a six-figure business, if you have an AI OS which knows your business inside and out, and the goal was to get to seven figures, like you've basically got a second brain that's gonna tell you everything that you need to do, like the roadmap to do that. And then do remember your agents live inside that operating system. So you've got automations happening autonomously because you've got the second brain. So from six to seven figures, if you've got to six figures and you have processes that are working well to do that, then you think about something that can prevent or reduce all the bottlenecks like the onboarding, like I said before, having an AI agent to help with the onboarding, all the things that you can be very strategic and putting AI there, being very strategic and getting permission from your clients to use AI in certain places. You can scale really fast and not have bottlenecks.
And are there some specific tools that you use and you recommend, some favorites from you?
I work very heavily in the terminal.
Mhm.
Again, techie. Let's go basic tools that anyone could apply. I mean, definitely having Whisper Flow, which is, your little you press the function key, you just talk to your computer. And that's obviously very helpful. I don't type anymore, I just talk to my computer. Obviously, a transcriber, Granoli is really fantastic because it gives you all your action steps at the end of that. So if you're in a meeting and all the action items, my agent is connected to my transcriber, so then it can take all these action items and start actioning those things, whether it's sending a form here or notifying that, or even on a walk, I'll tend to talk to it as well. So then it works as a personal assistant. So yeah, they're fantastic. I mean, Claude, I definitely, as I said, I live in the terminal. I love all the capabilities and the new tools that are coming out with that. Claude Design is another thing. If you want to quickly do a slide deck up, for presentations, you can again, I'm someone that it talks to my agents and they can create these things, but this is where you can go. You can you can get to that point, but if you want to start right now and having more efficient work and have things that will support you to build agents later on, to build agents that know your voice, I highly recommend, transcribing, talking to a note taker is really key because that's where you can build, your twin. I know you've built a twin yourself. The more data you can give your AI, the more you can actually have things done correctly that is in line with the voice of your business. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you think owners need to think about when they're looking at a new software or subscription and
Mhm.
how to make sure that it's actually going to fit what they need it for or
Yeah.
how they like to work?
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought up subscriptions because I think I really want to change mindset with that. Okay. Oh, this is so good. Because I think what we have come to know, we are very like got into the habit, the normalization of we get a subscription and we keep it and we kind of like we just have all these different subscriptions, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, but we don't need to. We really
Mhm.
don't need to. So it's the very first thing I always say, like for those that aren't using, okay, Perplexity, right? Like Perplexity is something I use every single day. I just love it. It's like my browser. I really like it because of the fact that it's just always with me. Yes, I obviously have my agents that can be with me, but it's just like it also helps to be a third party. So I tend to have one agent challenge another agent to kind of give a third party advice because they can be very confident of something, even if it's wrong. So it's also very helpful for that. But having if you have got Perplexity, you open up your emails, just asking Perplexity, can you give me a whole list of all the subscriptions I'm currently paying for? So that's one. Then you get that list and you put it into a Google Doc and say, create me a full spreadsheet. Claude can do that as well. But I think, if we talk about subscriptions, I think getting into the habit of unsubscribing them and only using them when you need to use the tokens. Like we don't need to use things monthly. We can use things as needed while we test different tools. I'm I'm kind of going away from tools if I'm completely honest, just because when it comes to the capabilities of, for example, what Claude can do and Claude Code, and it really is quite amazing what it can create, especially because it's got like Claude Design, it's got all these different little features, and it will ask permission if it needs to access something that it doesn't already have, right? But I think what would be very helpful is for business owners to start thinking about subscriptions that only subscribe to them, only use them when you actively need them. Be okay to unsubscribe if you're not actively using them. So you don't have that full, monthly subscription cost because it's not necessary, it's not needed. Yeah, and AI moves so quickly. So, what what it works this month will be different next month. It really is.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's moved so quickly already.
Hmm.
Um, Interesting one. If you were going to start a brand new business today, what would that be and why?
For myself,
Yes.
oh, so good. I would love to get back to my roots and helping women grow their businesses from, like, I'm so grateful that I'm deep down and I've been able to build AI operating systems and autonomous agents. But I would love to really be more people facing and hold spaces. This is why I do workshops. I love them. I just love bringing women together and just teaching things that they may not be aware of, just literally holding their hand through the tedious things, the things that are really uncomfortable or unknown. So if I was to start a new business, which I reckon I'll probably end up there anyway, just because it's calling me, is to really create a space for women in business to learn everything from sales psychology to business growth to automation, and do it in a way where it's built for women, meaning women, we are busy alone with just being a mum. Like there is so much that we carry. Our cognitive load, I feel like, is just ginormous. And so I would really want to build a community and a space for women to come together where it's actually the most important thing that they're receiving is actually the support and the connection. They're not feeling alone. They're not feeling like they're a solo entrepreneur. Yeah, I think there's real power in that.
Yeah, for sure. Good things happen when women come together.
Yes.
Are there some firsts that you would recommend people attack first? The first workflow, the first task that they can automate and get off their plate, women in particular?
Mm. I always say ask them where are they spending most of their time, because if they can free that up, then obviously that's going to really help for them to look and spend time in other areas. Because like I said, it's done in layers. When it comes to automation, it's really done in layers. So looking at their bottleneck, what would be the most helpful for them to automate, and again, it's back to the processes and making sure that they do work. And this is like a business strategy kind of, is there a better way of doing things? And I always reverse engineer things from the client's experience, because obviously it's going to bring you more clients, making sure that the customers are satisfied. But yeah, looking at their bottlenecks.
I've seen so many reels coming through on Instagram and everything at the moment about women using AI in the home to manage everything. Is that something that you're doing as well?
I think I started there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just testing it before obviously applying it to businesses, I was using it at home. And that could be anything from a personal assistant, so which I still use. Well, I've got several personal assistants, but just having a personal assistant on your phone that can send emails to teachers or can book things in calendars or send something off. I think that's something, I mean, that's fairly easy for anyone to set up. If they're a Google user, then it's obviously very helpful with a Gemini, a gem. But yeah, you can be really creative. You can be really creative. We've got new technology coming out as well that for the home. So, you think about like my girlfriend has a robo lawnmower, so everything is having intelligence built into it, washing machines and things like that. So, Siri. So that's connected to ChatGPT. So you can actually start communicating to things around our everyday life.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, for sure. It's pretty
mm,
impressive, all of the things that have come out to just take away some chores, really.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I w- yeah.
Go
I'm
ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm experimenting with creating a. This is what I do in my spare time. This is what I'm like, what else? What else would help me, when it comes to AI? So my kids are 7. So I'm still getting a lot of mom, 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 and it was so where I when I went into the allied health space and started doing AI for them, I was looking at voice AI and having creating like a human-like voice. I cloned my own voice and put that into an agent. And I was like, wonder if I could do the same thing for like a nanny, like a twin mum. And so when they're saying like mom, mom, just experimenting of having the agent kind of respond and answer questions, because I have a million questions. I'm just like, let's let's have our nanny agent respond to that. So it's just been creative like that as well.
That's so fun. I love that. I have 17-month-old twins myself who are currently having a nap. So I'm not at the mum, lots of questions. I'm at the mummy pick me up stage. But
Yes.
that sounds great. What an
Yeah.
excellent idea.
Yeah.
Do
There'll be,
you have, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, there'll be so many. Like you think when they're 7, technology is just going to be, it's just, like, we won't be able to comprehend it.
No, I really don't think so. All of those Back to the Future movies are going to seem so primitive.
Yeah. The Jetsons.
Yeah. Do you have some client stories that you can share with us about where they were and what you did to work with them to get them into a better position or a more efficient position?
Mm. Yeah. Oh, this is good. Again, because it's psychology based, right? So okay, let's go with because I help AI developers and I also help business owners, right? So two different types. AI developers, and the reason why I help AI developers is because they don't have a business background. So they're not thinking of it from a client's perspective. So as far as using AI and how to create, or when you're building a solution, when you're offering a solution, if you're a business owner, obviously that's what we do, right? You've got to think about it from the user's point of view. What does the client want? What will actually be helpful? So that's probably step one. Really put yourself in their shoes. I'll give you an example. So a developer, business owner was creating a solution for, again, this is voice AI, and they were using it for I'm trying to think whether, oh, that's right. They were using it for aged care. And again, it's one of those things where if the agent's not very clear, if it's not, um, it can go round in circles. You're not going to get any outcome. You're just going to get basically the phone's just going to hang up and you're not going to get any customers that way. So being very strategic and being very intentional where you're putting AI. So we changed basically everything of his business. I just said clearly, well, let's try something different. You've already got the product. Let's try and apply it to a different clientele. So I said to him, think about what would require a voice AI that doesn't need the back and forth, basically who doesn't need someone to validate how they feel. They just want quick information, quick service right now. Like, what would that look like? That would be like a plumber because something's broken. That would be a removalist truck. So that's where we landed on. We actually pivoted from a nurturing front, something clients that needed to be nurtured through a pipeline to okay, job booked. Here's the time, here's the date, this is the quote. And literally immediately, like, do you know what I mean? Clients are coming in, they're very happy because like, wow, this is amazing. I need a removalist truck literally within 2 hours. And I've been given a quote, I've been given a time, driver's been notified, so and that's really a hands-off business as well. So this is a good example as far as being very intentional of how you use AI, and you have to reverse engineer it from the client's shoes, from their perspective. How would they respond to it? What do they actually want? If they're engaging with AI. So that was fun to watch. That was really fun to watch, to completely strip back a full business model and apply AI. Still same product, just different audience and different instructions to the AI, so a very, very, very simple change. That's one. Another one would be the pipeline, like automating anything where, my goodness, this was great. This is amazing because the amount of burnout that was happening within this team, and this business was able to open up in a new location because they're like, wow, we have only been able to scale because we've had to hire more to support like new leads, customers coming on. So when we automated basically the onboarding and all of that, like even part of the customer journey was we were able to automate as well because there's a lot of back and forward in that. And that's like you don't need to have a 12-step pipeline, but you can simplify it. But even just having that automated, they were able to then, open up another location and still growing to this day. So I really love it. I really love the fact that you can get creative and use AI. And I think if you get in the habit of just questioning, if I put AI here, what experience would the client have? Like, what are the benefits? What are the pros? Like, and what are the cons as well? But if there are obvious pros and your team members can have more capacity to provide more support, that's what we all want. We want more capacity.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and be able to deliver more quality services as well, like make our customers happy, make sure that they want to um, come back and or if they're members, like continue their services. Like I think that that really is the aim of the game when it comes to business growth.
Yes, yeah. You touched on something there that I wanted to ask you about, so thank you. Burnout within
Mm.
workplaces. We are, because we're on all the time, we are so contactable. You know,
Mm.
it used to be that you'd go to work and then when you come home, that's it. Switch off.
Mm.
Nobody's calling you, nobody's texting you, nobody's finding you on social media and stalking you or anything like that. But
Yeah.
now it's just on, on, on. And obviously, with everything progressing so quickly,
Mm.
we are feeling that pressure to do more, achieve more, learn all of these different tools and implement everything. How do we design a business system or business systems,
Yeah.
protect our well-being and avoid that burnout while still staying in the game?
Yeah. 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 And especially if you're a solo like business owner, I do see that pressure as far as like learning to know where to start, what to implement. I also do see a lot of people burning out with the because of the pressure of like what tools, like they're getting overwhelmed with AI and it is noisy. Like you, which kind of hurts because I guess the reason why I'm so passionate about this is actually just from preventing burnout. Like that's truly why I do what I do is to prevent burnout. A, because I've been there myself. And so now that we're in a space where, yeah, it is quite noisy and everyone's talking about all these tools, I just want to say, like, it doesn't have to be. Like, if you're getting overwhelmed, I just really encourage people to take a breath and realize that it is just noise. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. It really doesn't. And stripping it back to basics. So, this is why I say, you don't need to automate everything overnight. Like, don't do that. Doesn't even work like that. It really is just choosing one part of the business that you would be like, I would like to put some time and energy to understand whether this bottleneck that I have, because the part of the business that you've chosen is because of the bottleneck. I just want to just look at that and talk to someone to see what is possible. And if business owners are listening to this, then the the great thing is where AI is right now is the solution you apply to that little speck will be able to be applied to the other areas as well. So it gets easier and easier. And it's not about using lots of different tools. It really isn't. It's just very being aware that you could just have one tool that could link up to your existing platforms. You can have someone come and do this if you don't have the capacity yourself, or you can go to a workshop and it could a 2-day workshop and you've got things linked up. But I probably want to encourage people to, yeah, stop listening to the new shiny object noise, all these different tools coming out. It really does not need to be as complicated as what I think we're seeing on social media.
Yeah, for sure. And just thinking about your journey within all of this space, obviously 7 years ago, you were pregnant with twins or just having twins and, working as a psychologist to now being, a leader and teaching people how to do this thing.
Mm.
What advice would you give that version of you from, 7+ years
Mm.
ago
Mm.
on knowing the journey that she was about to embark on?
Yeah, wow. And it's just crazy of just how much has changed since then.
Mm.
I think the only thing that hasn't changed is if you, like I've always had told myself, like if you believe it, you can achieve it. Um, and having that real open-minded, optimistic view, I think has been extremely helpful. What advice would I give myself? That honestly, it's just, yeah, it's keeping an open mind. I think stay curious is probably the thing that's really got me where I am. stay curious and continue to learn, listen. I love analyzing things at work and then, refining, as I said, if they don't. Um, I mean, everything we're going to do, even if I talk to the person that's seven in my future, it's going to be the same advice, is staying curious, staying open-minded, and keep on experimenting. And yeah, just no limitations.
Beautiful advice. I have some questions for you. I have these connection cards at my networking event, the Brunch Club, and they are a range of things. Some of them are a little bit more lighthearted, other ones are quite deep. So I've got three for you.
Okay.
First question is, you've achieved so much and overcome so much in your lifetime. What are you most proud of and why?
Hmm. Oh, okay. There's little bits of this personal and there's professional in there that comes to mind. I think I'm definitely proud of myself for, I think I'm thinking back to my 7-year-old, when the twins were just born, maybe. But I'm very grateful as a single mum that I've been able to buy property and multiple property. I think that was very brave and doing that on my own. So that's probably a personal achievement that I'm very grateful for. And professionally, I think diving into something that once scared me. Like, so I used to be scared of tech. I used to be known as the person that was like, she can't even change her email password kind of thing, to being where I am right now, right? Fully developing software and things like that. So, which is so much fun. But I, yeah, I think what I'm very proud of is if it scares me, I'm going to lean into it further. And I think that's pretty cool.
I like that. That's very cool. Okay. You can only have three apps on your phone. What do you keep and why?
Hmm. Okay. Well, definitely a camera to capture moments. So I don't know if well, it is still is. Other ones would be something that for me to communicate to loved ones. So camera, communication, and I think my third one would be, oh, this is a hard one. We're gonna get three. What? Uh, I'm very much Spotify, like music, anything where I can listen to an audio book and listen to music. Yeah, those three would be. And look at that, they're the basics, right? We
So
need
much
we
so.
need the human connection. I love looking back at photos of my babies and I think, something that brings up my energy is through a good book or music.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, last one. You have a magical time machine. Where do you travel and why?
Okay. Time machine, like going back in time or any.
Anywhere.
Okay.
Forward, back, wherever you like.
Okay. It would be lovely to go and revisit the moment when my kids were born. And that very first day, I felt like that day definitely went too quick. Um, yeah, there's nothing more special than seeing life come into the world and life that you've created. And if it was a location, I'm obsessed. I love going to Santorini. I love going to Greece and going to the Greek islands. So that would be a quick, like, okay, I'll have a weekend there. So something warm. I'm cold right now, so somewhere warm.
Sounds fabulous.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience?
Hmm. Yes, because this audience is women and not only women, but women that are literally doing it all. Like literally, we are just freaking amazing. I just think I don't even know where we come from. Like I don't even know how we do what we do. I really don't. I would say if you're having a hard day, do know it will pass, but don't ever give up. And I know people say that all the time, like, don't give up, don't give up. Like, what does that even mean? But I trust me when I say, like, I have, you know, business is not always like there is always ups and downs, always. And you kind of have to get into the frame of mind where it's like, it's not about how many times you get hit, it's like how many times you get hit and keep on going. So, I just say to women, like, surround yourself with others that will genuinely support you, like real women that are not there just because of having another follower or hoping that it comes to another connection or opportunity, like real women that really just like it's got nothing to do with them. It's all about like they really genuinely want to have you succeed and will be there to get you out when things are hard. I think, yeah, that's probably keep on going and keep on connecting with the right people.
That's a beautiful message. And where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. So my Instagram's pretty easy. It's just amberhills.ai. That's probably the best place to find me. And website is aiautomationaustralia.online. But DM me on Instagram. Honestly, I don't have an agent in my DMs. I will refuse to. And to be honest, like I like to, because I probably use AI in all the other places and platforms, I do try and keep my Instagram me personally, and not touched by AI. It's like the only thing that's like I'm like, no one's allowed to go near that. I want human to human there. So yeah, definitely DM me on Instagram.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for talking with me today. I've loved this chat. It's eye-opening.
It's so good. And another twin mum, like what?
I know, we're everywhere. I'm meeting all the twins. I love it.
Okay, well, I need to hang out with you because yeah, I still feel like we're kind of a rare breed. I have like two really close mum friends that have twins, but
Yeah,
yeah,
right. Yeah.
it's nice.
Crazy.
Yeah, I definitely feel, yeah, it's nice when you get to connect to someone where you kind of had to do the whole patting on the head and rubbing the stomach. That's what I felt like twin, mum life was. So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Having multiples is something else. Motherhood is hard enough, but yeah, multiples are wild.
Yes, they are.
Thank you again. This has just been such a great chat. Make sure you reach out to Amber at amberhills.ai on Instagram. Thank you again.
No worries. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. I hope you loved this episode. If you did, please remember to share it with somebody else who you think will enjoy it too. I would love it if you leave a review, which helps me reach more people just like you. And don't forget to come and join me on Instagram at empower.health. Thank you, darling.